So I wanted to check in real quick and do a read-in into what happened to Amy Bradley. So a few days ago, I did a very detailed read-in and did a deep dive with Spirit into what happened to Amy and how she disappeared and where she is now. So to start with her disappearance on the cruise ship, I'm going to jump right into it. So initially when she left her room with the intention of meeting up with someone, okay? Her leaving the balcony door open, I don't think that has any relevance to her harming herself or anything like that. I think she just left it open for whatever reason and then she left the room, okay? Now, when she left the room, she went to meet with someone. No, this person was not Alistair Douglas. This was not Yellow. She met with another man, I believe. Maybe I see this man as having like dark hair, kind of lanky, skinny looking man. From what was revealed to me, this person is like a king of wands, basically. He has very dominating energy, very clever, and kind of goes under the radar. So with those things in mind, I believe this person had a specific responsibility on the cruise, a specific role that he had access to various areas of the cruise ship that other people on the cruise ship, for example, passengers did not have access to. This is how Amy kind of got to know this person, and I want to say she kind of wanted to explore with this person. With the fire energy here and the wand energy here, it makes me feel like he may have been like a chef, or also with the term under the radar that was very potent in the reading, he could have something to do with like the radar system on the cruise ship. But this is someone who has a very specific access to certain areas, and no one's going to question what he's doing because of his role and because of his responsibility. He comes off as very confident and charismatic, but he moves with ulterior motives and manipulation. And at the time, this was not readily noticeable to Amy. So when her parents said that she was missing and had the staff involved to try to find her, to try to get other staff members involved to look for her, at that particular time, I don't think this person who she was with, I don't think she was in any harm until the parents said that she was missing. This person, like I said, is very manipulative, very clever. So you wouldn't necessarily know by looking at him or speaking with him that he has ulterior motives or he's doing something with a hidden agenda. So knowing that Amy was missing, I feel like he took that opportunity to really manipulate and do bodily harm to her, in a certain sense. Okay, so until she was actually missing, that's when he used that opportunity to basically take Amy off of the boat, whether it was a means of drugs or something. When I think of Amy, I think of the show Blind Spot, and I think of the fact that her memory in that show, her memory was a race, basically. I feel like Amy was heavily drugged up, now to the point where I feel as though she does not necessarily know who she is or who she was at that current point. I feel like she's living a completely different life. She's a completely different person, possibly with a completely different name. I heard the name Ivy, which is similar to her mother's name, Iva. But I heard the name Ivy, and I also heard Riley or something with an R. Okay, so that could be what her name is now. But at the time that she was taken, she was like heavily drugged up, very disoriented, to the point now that she really doesn't remember who she is. So with what she's doing now, I see Amy as being someone who is very good with her hands. Okay, she's alive and well, but however, I feel as though she's having some health issues, or she's kind of having a certain level of burnout. Going back to her using her hands, I feel like she's very crafty, or she does stuff that's very artistic. I saw like those clay moldings. I don't know if she does something with that, but she's seen to the people around her as someone who is she has like a specific purpose. People come to her because they need her, they want her, she's good with her hands, she knows how to comfort certain people. Like, she has a specific skill set that is needed with the people that are around her. Now, with that in mind, I also feel like she, although she does not know who she is, there is going to be something that happens. I saw this as like a spiritual initiation, something with fire, something with like the elements, that something happens to her. I don't know if someone says something, but she goes through some sort of activation or initiation where something triggers her to remember who she was and possibly what happened to her. This could even be in dream state. She could be in a dream state as well, where she's having certain nightmares that basically resemble the fact that she went missing. She's probably having the foresight into her family looking for her, and possibly certain news reports and things of that nature. There also could be, I saw this as well, and I'm saying so much, but there's so much coming in. Also, there is a woman around her that thinks or has an inkling that Amy is Amy, but she's unsure exactly like how to say it or how to position it. This could be someone that Amy confides in and has certain conversations with, but there's also a nervousness around that energy of not saying too much for fear of the wrong people overhearing or getting in trouble. Because where Amy is, this was the other thing that I was shown. I pulled ancestor messages for her, and we had the Magician card that came out, and we had the Risk It All card that came out. And with the Magician card, like I said before, she's an alchemist. She uses her hands. She uses elements. Like, she expands everything around her. And at the appointed time, she's going to risk her freedom to go after what she believes is her truth and her desire. I feel like she's surrounded or near a body of water. I feel like she's around an emperor, someone who's kind of like a dictator but has a very high level role or high level position, where he kind of watches Amy and keeps her in line and makes sure she's like doing what she's doing. Someone who's kind of controlling, someone who is kind of manipulative, but at the same time, this person has a certain level of authority and power. Now, again, I don't know if it's the same person who was on the cruise ship, who worked on the cruise ship, whoever it was definitely staff on the cruise ship. Like I said, there's something with fire and there's something with the radar. So I see this as a chef or a kitchen staff member, catering staff member, someone who, I don't know if there's even like a fire crew or something like that on this ship, but someone who plays with fire is what Spirit is saying to me, and lives kind of under the radar or knows the radar system of the cruise ship. So I don't know if this person is necessarily this emperor, this like dictator, diplomat person, but I definitely feel like she could be around water. Like I said, whether this is the areas that I were told was near Jamaica or near South Africa, okay? And this place in particular could have like a bungalow or a place that kind of has like a pinnacle symbol or some sort of crest. This place is like a safe haven. So this could be like a church or a sanctuary, but it's also a place that kind of recognizes like celebrations and ceremonies to a certain extent. And she is also seen as like a leader, a person that people turn to for help and for assistance. So like I said, Amy's alive and well, but she is has a certain level of burnout right now. She's not necessarily doing too well, but she's still holding on. I do believe once she goes through that spiritual initiation, there's going to be a trigger. There's also a King of Cups. There's also going to be a man that is going to come through and help her reconnect with her family at the appointed time. I know her family is going through a lot. It's been about 27 years since she disappeared. But I feel as though the reason that they have not connected is there's something happening with the family that needs to, I'm hearing spirits say resurrect. So there's something that needs to be done with the family in order for her to come forward. I can't necessarily pinpoint exactly what it could be, but until the family does something or acknowledges something, then that's going to open the door for Amy to activate whatever force is needed to allow her to come forward. And again, there's the King of Cups. There's a man that is going to come in as kind of like the adversary to support Amy and get into connection with her family at the right time. I heard 1, 2, 3 as well. So this could be 123 days from now. This could be January 23rd. It could be something along those lines, but again, it has to be the right time. There's something with the family, and when I say that, I'm particularly drawn to her father. I think there could be something with the father that needs to be acknowledged or expressed or spoken on in order for the energy to align enough for Amy to have the courage to reach out and for her to come forward. I do see a reunion happening at the appointed time. It's going to happen at the appointed time, because the card that I pulled as well was the 4 of Wands, and we know that to be a card of reconciliation or reunion. So this could be 4 months from now, or this could be 4 years from now. So maybe it's like January 23rd, 2029 or something like that. But we shall see what happens. I would just say continue to keep her in prayer as she navigates this very challenging time for her. She definitely is going to start to realize that her identity is not what she always thought it was. And that can be very overwhelming for someone to realize that they're not the person they thought they were. And it's also going to be very hard for her family as well. So I say just continue to stay prayed up and continue to stay in the energy of belief that at the right time, Amy will come forward and have the reunion with her family that she so deserves. So let me know what you guys think of this energy reading and drop any questions that you may have. And I'll see you next time. Bye.